It's Kristie with AG Takes Over, and I'm so excited for this video. We are freshly back from the American Girl / Madison Children's Museum benefit sale in Madison, Wisconsin. We just got in yesterday evening, and I was going to do this all in one video. This morning, I filmed the what did we buy and how much did we spend portion, and that took a while because we bought a lot. And I realized I would have to cram, like just gloss over everything else to make it one video without it being ridiculously long. And there just was too much interesting stuff. Like there's too much other stuff I want to share with you. So we're making it two. And I think they're both worth the watch, and I hope you enjoy them both. By the way, if you're watching this for the first time, welcome. Yay, glad you're here. And you're welcome to subscribe as well. I have random notes here that I took while I was in the car when it was not my turn to drive. So I'll probably pause and put like, here's what the points are. But they're not in a certain logical order. They're just separated by subject. So what was on our wish list that we didn't get? First of all, let me tell you that. Several Truly Me dolls. I was hoping for a 30, another 40, a 54. I really was hoping they would have a 54. We already have a 64, but I was hoping for one with an older face mold. They did have a couple of her early in the morning. We got in at 8:30. The sale started at 8, so we did pay the extra, the big bucks to get in within that first hour, the early shoppers. But we weren't, by the time we were there at 8:30, they had like a couple 64s, and they were all the newer face mold, which I already have. So that I was looking for possibly getting a second 86, but they didn't have one, and possibly getting another 62, but they didn't have one. And yeah, there were a couple more that they didn't have that I wanted. But basically, almost all the Truly Me's that I was most hoping for, they did not have. My wife was hoping for Yvette's, oh my gosh, I almost said Evelyn. Yvette's duster outfit that sold out really quickly, and they didn't, at least at 8:30 they didn't have it, and from everything I've seen and heard, it seems like they either didn't have it at all or they had like just a couple. So yeah, I'll have to look and see if any other thing, or if things come into mind, I'll just like shout them out. But those were the things that came to mind that I was really hoping for, that I thought were like reasonable to expect. Some other things were like, yes, and I hope they just randomly have Mary Ellen's Airstream. I didn't expect it. I just thought, wouldn't that be lovely? Oh, they just like happened to have a Joss's van that, they didn't realize. I didn't expect those, but I was kind of hoping for those Truly Me's, and they didn't have any of the ones I wanted at all. Or the ones that like were my priorities. Let's see. We went there in a car that's my mom's car, her second car. And because I was like, we already went on a road trip earlier this month, and we did a rental car for it, and we've just had 3 trips this month, and it's kind of adding up. Well, they offered, hey, if you wanted to take our car for one of the trips. I was like, great. And they said, we'll go get a tune-up and whatever, because we don't use it that often. Oh, hey, we went to get it a tune-up and all the things that it needed, and realized the air conditioning doesn't work on it. Who even knew? And it's actually kind of an expensive fix, so we're not going to do it. Do you still want the car? Yeah. Pray to the weather gods, whatever. It was hot. It was like 91 outside, so whatever that becomes in the inside of a car. And then if you roll down the windows, is you're on the freeway, like coming into Chicago, and it was super hot, and it was like jet engine loud and just kind of miserable, like sweaty. Our bras were disgusting. Coming back, we went to Starbucks in the morning, and then we like, Grace may not appreciate me telling you this, but I was like, hey, this is the way we're doing air conditioning. So we filled up the cups with ice, and I just like opened my shirt and stuck the ice cup down in between my boobs. All right, well, this is helping. because otherwise, I don't know, we're going to be stopping every third exit just to enjoy some gas station air conditioning. But yeah, the car was a bit of a sacrifice, but it was fine. We obviously arrived unscathed, and it helped us save some money. The other thing about going there was we originally planned to take our 3.5-year-old. If any of you watched the video when I like first found out that they were doing the benefit sale on site, I was like, take our 3.5-year-old or no, and the reviews were mixed. You all were all over the place, and some people were like, no, and it felt a little harsh. And you know what? You were smart people. Thank you. After we did our second road trip of the month, which was all the way to Vermont and back from Ohio, we decided our kid is not up for this. And we are not up for this with our kid. And if we're going to do this in a car that's not even air conditioned, nobody's going to survive. And that was probably the smartest decision I've made in 2023. No lie. She had so much more fun. It was chaotic. It was crowded and overwhelming on Saturday, and she would have not had a fun time at all. It would have been way overstimulating. We would not have had a fun time. We wouldn't have gotten to go to the meetup. She would have been miserable in the car because it was either too hot or like still hot, but now also really loud. So yeah, thank you to my older daughter Annika, and also to Grandma for pinch hitting and keeping her and giving her a lovely weekend with family instead of a miserable weekend with us at the benefit sale. So yay. Um, Speaking of air conditioning, things that we learned, we went the very first year this was ever an air conditioned sale. So this sale is 30 plus years. I think over 35, 33, 36, somewhere in there, 30 something years that they've been doing it. And it's never been in a nice building like it was. It's never been as roomy. It's never been air conditioned. People were telling war stories of it's always been in a warehouse and it's so hot. There's no air conditioning in there. It's so hot. People are sweating so much that the floor gets wet with their sweat. So they put cardboard down to keep people from slipping and falling on the sweat. I'm just going to tell you, my wife would not have made it. She was not cut out for that. Not like I would have enjoyed it, but she would not have made it. So we picked the right year to experience this in person, for sure. I mean, it was great hearing people's stories, but also I was like, yuck. It was run so smoothly. Even we participated in last year's online sale, and I remember the frustration. I experienced some of it, of the predicted shipping being so much under what the actual shipping ended up being, and people's frustration, and people being very rude to each other, people being very rude to the volunteers, it feeling really chaotic, things being really delayed, people not getting their orders for months. It was just frustration on all fronts, and definitely some bad behavior from multiple angles. But this was so, from my perspective and everybody that I spoke to, so smoothly run. Probably air conditioning makes people nicer, right? But it was organized. Everybody seemed friendly. Everything was just efficient. Even though I said it was chaotic and crowded, it was like, that's to be expected. It was not like anything where you're like, you should have known to. I can't think of a single thing that's like, well, they should have done this. It was beautiful, beautiful. Like, I feel so grateful to those volunteers, so impressed by, especially this was their first time doing it in a new location and their first time doing it online after several, or in person after several years online, and kind of coming back after a year where they were really not treated well by some of the shoppers from the online sale. I think that they did a fantastic, phenomenal job. So if you happen to be watching this and you're a volunteer, not that I expect that you are, but thank you. That was amazing. I do want to emphasize to people, it is the last time that the Madison Children's Museum is doing this sale. Most of you already know that, but I've seen people saying, oh, I hope to go next year. There might be some kind of benefit sale. Hopefully Mattel is looking for partners that want to do something similar. I have zero insider information about that. I'm just saying what I hope. But regardless, it won't be this sale. It won't be the Madison Children's Museum sale. So this is an end of an era, and it felt like a real blessing to be able to go and experience it for the first time, which was also everybody's last time. The vendors were fantastic. We knew a few, not personally, but like from Facebook groups and different things, we knew one of the vendors, and she took pictures of her setup and put them on the Facebook page. And we were like, ooh, I want that dress and I want that. And we know we're going to see Pat Salerno's stuff first thing in the morning. And there was somebody else from Ashley from Sew and Soar, Sew and SOAR, Soar. She had her area set up, and we have gotten a couple custom items from her, plus a Claudie dress from her. So we knew we would stop by and get something, which we did, and I'll show you in the next video. We got something from some vendor that we were not familiar with. Yeah, it was like kind of one aisle with shops all, or booths, tables, whatever areas set up all along it was the vendor area. So great to see people's homemade stuff, especially a lot of love for Claudie. There were, the two places that had Claudie dresses. So we got our girl some outfits. What else? We did a few good deeds, like randomly things that were nice to get to do. Well, this is funny. So we walked in, and when we got into our 8:30 slot, and there was a Winter Princess doll, the Sonali mold one. And I actually got this doll before and then ended up changing my mind. I kept the outfit and then sold the doll. And then I was like, but for $70? Come on, it was $70. So I go pick it up. And I was like, asked my wife, like, think I should get it? And she's like, that's all you. I mean, you had it and you already sold the doll before. And I was like, yeah, but $70. So I pick her up because they tell you, get the things. You can always put them back in these bins. I'll have to remember to tell you more about that. But they said, just grab the things if you want them because they're not going to last. So I was like, grab it. And then as I'm turning around, this woman and her friend are walking up, and she was like, oh. And I was like, because it was the last one. And she was like, ah. And I said, did you really want it? And she was like, yes. And I said, here, take it. And so I'm thinking I'm doing some nice thing. And then the volunteer goes, that's just the like visual one. That's just the display. That's the word. That's just the display. This whole thing, the brown cardboard boxes. We didn't even realize, like I didn't, Grace didn't, the other two ladies didn't. And I was like, oh, never mind. Let me put this one back. And here, I guess we can both pick out from the brown boxes. So that was like good intentions, but not really a good deed because it was totally unnecessary. We were able to pick up a doll for somebody who is a subscriber, and that is how we know each other. So that was fun. We picked up 2 Blix dolls in the morning when we went in. I didn't think there were going to be any, and I was like, let's grab them. Well, Grace didn't see any, and then I happened to look over. They weren't with they were just with the Corinne, all the Girl of the Year stuff, and I saw 2 of them, and I was like, boop, boop, got them. And I know they put out a few more, but that was all that I saw in the moment. I was like, got them. And we carried them around. Then later at some point, we sat down and we started going through our stuff. I'll probably put footage in here. Okay, so, whoops. So we just did our subtotal for Saturday morning, and we're going to have to do some readjusting because we came with gift cards and birthday money and a lot of things that make it not out of our own pocket, which is great. But it was still $778, which is not great because 2 of the things we got had a much bigger price tag than we expected. We can totally do $778 because not much is coming out of pocket, like I said. But we want to be able to shop a lot tomorrow, so time to whittle some things down. And I was expecting them to not be all that much. They were $70. It was from the limited treasure table, but they weren't on the limited treasure table. They were on just the Girl of the Year section. And I was like, $70? I pulled it up on my phone. I'm like, they retailed for $42. Yes, I know people are reselling them for $150 to $200. I just wasn't expecting the benefit sale to do that kind of markup on top of retail. I thought the benefit sale would be below retail unless it was like something longer expired. Really, I don't know, maybe they figure it's expired and it's hard to find and it's expensive, so they have every right to do that. I was just like, oh, $70, I don't know. And somebody's gonna have to, like, yes, we could sell them because we already have one, but I don't want to sell it for that much. It just feels a little icky. Yes, we resell plenty, but we don't generally buy new with the intent to resell. And for me personally, that feels a little different. I have different feelings about it. So I was like, I don't know. I don't want to be that person. And you know what? We've been carrying these around with us for a couple of hours. So they're gone. Like, they are all long gone. We could make somebody's day if we put these back, because somebody who didn't have the money and didn't spring for the early entry tickets and is like, things are already getting picked over, could like have a great surprise and find these and just be thrilled. And hopefully it's not somebody who's going to turn around and sell them for $200. So went over here and put one back and looked back over. A couple seconds later, it was gone. And I went over here and I put one back and it was gone. So that was hopefully a nice thing and made somebody's day. And by the way, when I say here and put it back and here and put it back, they actually had bins in the four corners of the building, or the four corners of this big area, that said, change your mind, put the things here. And so their volunteers would come and pick everything up and run them back to their respective areas. They said, please don't just like sit things back down in a random place. Put them in these bins. And they were accessible. So when I say, when put one back here, it was in that bin. And put one back here, it was in a different bin. And then, another YouTuber, AGIGer, we met on Saturday and hung out for a while. And then on Sunday morning, we happened to be kind of in the general milling about area before you go in and shop. And I said, what time are your entries? And it was like, that morning we got in, Sunday morning we got in at 8:15. This person got in at 8:45. And so I was asking everybody, like, in our little area, so what are you looking for? What are you looking for? What are you looking for? And Mal from Dollies and Rainbows said, I would really like the gymnastics set. And because I think it's like $80 new, and then they had it for $20, but then it was 20% off, which made it $16 instead of $80. And she's like, I saw that they had some. If it's still there, I'd really like that. So we went in and we were going back for something. You'll find out in the next video. And I passed the gymnastics sets, and they only had like 5. And I was like, 5? A half an hour from now, there will not be any. So I grabbed one, and then when she came in, I was like, hey, here you go. They won't have any more left. So, and they didn't have any more left by then. So yeah, it was really fun to be able to do a couple good deeds. We saw some customizers there that we know of. One we had gotten a doll from. So we saw Kristen from Oh Dear Custom Dolls getting a crap ton of dolls. I asked, could I take a picture and can I do a little footage? And it seems like they were just getting started, because they came back and shopped again Saturday and again Sunday.
This is not even the start of it.
Oh gosh.
Oh my gosh.
We're coming back in later.
So I think she'll be stocked up to make all of your, the customized dolls that she makes available for another year. And ran into Rachel Kuzniar. I forget her, Copper Cadence Dolls, I believe is her doll customization name. But anyway, saw some customizers there getting their things. Saw some eBay resellers there on Sunday, and I'm going to share footage in just a minute. They weren't happy to be getting some looks and having people taking pictures and filming them and whatnot. But I don't feel bad about it. I feel like if your moral compass is legal equals ethical, as long as it's legal, it's ethical, then you do you. And if I had to debate, if I were on debate team and I had to debate the perspective of what they were doing, buying 440 dolls not even looking at them, just grabbing them in giant. They had runners. There was one group that had 22 people with these giant, like, industrial strong trash bags, and they'd go and they'd just fill it to the rim with dolls, and they'd take it over to this kind of staging area or loading area or whatever, and the other people were building pallets out of them. 12 across to make one row, 12 tall, 144 dolls on a pallet. Boom, move on to the next pallet. It was something to behold.
You're gonna have to stay here. Yeah,
12 on each row, 12 rows. That's 144, and they have 6 pallets. If I had to argue on a debate team, I could find ways to make that seem like a great choice and very ethical and very okay. It just, to see like families and children and grandchildren not be able to get the things because people are just like clearing the tables to go just pop them right up on eBay. And one of the volunteers said, yeah, we know them by name. They come and do it every year. There's nothing we can do about it. I mean, again, they make their money. The benefit sale makes their money. It just, I think that they get a lot of joy out of seeing people shopping for personal use. There was a couple in front of us buying for toys for tots. I mean, grandkids, but also toys for tots. We mostly did, I mean, like 90% of our shopping was personal shopping, but we did buy a set to donate. There was, I guess this is probably the last thing for this video. There was a meetup. Kristen from AG for All Ages hosted a meetup, or kind of organized whatever, a meetup in our hotel lobby, because we stayed in the hotel that was attached to the benefit sale space. And that was lovely. Like, I'm just going to have to put a list of the people, their handles and everything that we met. I'll do that right now, actually. So we were there for probably in the lobby, just shooting the breeze with people and talking and whatever. And I had never been to an American Girl doll meetup. I don't know if you have. It was lovely. There was no like fangirling or snobbery or anything like that. It was just people who love dolls hanging out with people who love dolls. And I didn't have a sense of who had huge accounts or who had small accounts, or I don't know. Nobody was like a celebrity. It's just people who like dolls. And here's the thing I did not know. You apparently like bring things to these. I'm going to show you, I have to film it, but I'm going to show you the things that we got. And people were so sweet. And I felt like somebody showing up to a potluck empty-handed because I didn't know, so I didn't bring anything. And I was like, I totally could have made bracelets. I could have made little pictures or cards or any number of things. And I just didn't know you were supposed to. So, and now, I don't know if they're going to have one again, but I will certainly. I enjoyed it so much that I will definitely find some way to like attend a big doll meetup like that, and be sure to not show up empty-handed to the potluck next time. Anyway, here is some more footage and pictures and everything. This is nuts. So on the downside, they did not have any of the Truly Me lower numbers that I wanted. I was looking for 30, 40, 54 or an older face mold for 64. They didn't have any of those. And I don't mean as in they were already out of them. I mean they didn't have them to begin with, because we got an 8:30 time slot and there was no like spot where it was empty where they had been and then they just weren't there anymore. So they just didn't have them, which makes me feel a little bit better to know I didn't just miss out on them, but they didn't have them. We got a couple things that I didn't think we were gonna get, so I'm really excited about, and I will show you when I do a big reveal thing later. I had a wonderful time. I'm so grateful that I was able to go. I'm grateful for the people that I got to meet. Several of you came up and talked to me, and I'm so glad because I don't always recognize people by face. So, I mean, people who have channels I do, but otherwise I wouldn't. So people came up and said who they are, and some said, "Oh, I never comment on your videos. I just watch them all the time," which was great. Thank you for coming up and not being shy, just going ahead and saying hi. That was fun. And yeah, I'm going to charge the phone now, and then I will go ahead and get the rest of this filmed. I got filmed a little bit of what we got from the vendors. No, from the meetup. So I'll just put some music on or something and you can see what we got, and I'll put a little commentary around it. And then I will start editing both of the videos so that you can watch this one and the next one, which is the mother load, all of the stuff that we got. So stick around. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you for my next video.